learn how you can create a super creepy effect like this using Lens Studio's new Inpainting feature. So you might have seen some of the lenses where people are removing their bodies or parts of the bodies from the scene. And that is using something called Inpainting. They might think that Snapchat and Lens Studio are doing some crazy machine learning to do that. They actually aren't. So it's really easy and accessible to add to any lens. Now, the big secret to this effect is the asset library. So I am using Lens Studio 4.1. Make sure you've updated if you haven't yet. So go ahead and open that up. And it is actually right here at the top. If it's not there, you can search for it. But it is the eraser post effect Inpainting. So go ahead and import that. Once it's finished importing, you can close the asset library. So once it's finished importing, you'll see eraser underscore put in ortho camera. So let's do that. Let's create a new camera. I'm just going to call this eraser. And I'm going to change the camera type to orthographic. I'm going to drag this up and put it into there. All right, so once it's in here, you might not see anything happening. That's because we need to make sure it's on the right layer. So select this prefab here. You want to select layers. Let's stick down the default layer. And now you can see that our user's head is gone. Now, how can we change this? So we have a few options here. The main one you're going to want is this mask texture. So this is going to dictate what gets erased. Now you can add new segmentation textures down here, or even easier, open up eraser resources, go to textures, select the portrait face segmentation. You can just use this drop down to change what you want. So you can do just the face in painting. You can do the shoulders down. You can do the background, which gives kind of like a super weird effect because it's using what's here to kind of fill in the rest. So you'll probably be using head or body most often. Now, it does work best on plain backgrounds. So I have a few little different videos loaded in here. So you can see that with the more complicated backgrounds, it's a little more visible that the inpainting is happening. But if you're putting like a 3D body mesh or something on here, it's going to cover up most of this smoothness. So it's still a really useful feature. All right, so coming back to our person, what if you want to add some effects like I had where I had just the eyes and the mouth? So to set up your scene, you want to move the eraser camera all the way up to the top. Make sure it's not nested in the camera, just put it first. And in your scene config, make sure that eraser is coming before your camera. We just want that to be erasing the scene first. And now if we come into our actual camera, let's add just a face inset. If we open this up, you can see that the mouth is added here. So if I change my face inset binding to mouth center, now the mouth is on the user's mouth, but their head isn't there anymore. Now if I change this segmentation back to head, you can start to see kind of that creepy effect. And so we can duplicate this with the eyes. Let's attach to left eyeball. I'll change this one to left eye. Actually, the face inset bindings are mixed up. So if it's attached to the left eye, you actually want to select the right eye here. A nice little quirk about Lens Studio. The binding, it gets the actual user's left eye, but the face insets, it is actually using what is left hand or right hand for you. All right, and so if you want the user's hair to be added, then we will need a new orthographic camera. We don't want to put in this eraser camera. So let's create a new screen image. Now I might add it to that other eraser camera. So just create a new camera, drag it down to the bottom, put down the orthographic layer, change the camera type to orthographic. Now you can bring this screen image into here and let us create an unlit material. Let's set it on that image, change the stretch mode to stretch. Now, before we edit our material settings, let's go ahead and add the hair segmentation. Portrait hair. All right, now let's select our material. For our base texture, we want the device camera texture. If we turn on opacity texture, there's no slot. So let's change the blend modes to normal. And now we can change this texture to the hair segmentation. Now you have this really creepy effect where you have the user's eyes, mouth, and hair, but the rest of their head is gone. So that's about all there is to it. With this Inpainting, you'll just want to import it from the asset library. Make sure you put an orthographic camera up at the top of your scene, and then you can use that to kind of build out the rest of your scene.